Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to see you all. I'm Adelia Anju, represented speaker in this section. I'm from Department Environmental Engineering, Universitas Islam Indonesia. Here, I present our study that has title Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point of Food Stall on campus in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Here our outlines presentation about introduction, methods, result discussion, and conclusion. And first, we will talk about introduction. Here, we know that food sanitation issues in developing countries, for example, Southeast Asia, South Asia, Africa, and so on, is one of pivotal issues, and it has to be improved more and more to attain sustainable development goals in 2030. And then among the food sanitation issues, pathogen microbial contamination issues such as E. coli and Salmonella typhosa and so on is still to be concerned. And then next. Moreover, Yogyakarta is one of city in Indonesia. Have you ever come to Yogyakarta? I think most of you ever come to Yogyakarta. Yogyakarta is well known as tourism and student city in Indonesia. And we have to highlight here about the student city in Indonesia. Yogyakarta possesses relatively high food poisoning cases in the top 3, the third rank in Indonesia. And about the recent finding, about 79% foodborne disease related to the food hygiene condition. Otherwise, only 40% restaurants, including food stall, were categorized healthy in Yogyakarta. So here, the aims of this research is to investigate implementation, hazard analysis, and critical control point, and its principle on food stall around campus in Yogyakarta. In the aims, we have to highlight 2 points about the hazard analysis and critical control point and the food stall around campus. Why? The first is about HACCP. HACCP standardization in Indonesia only focusing on food manufacturing, hotel, restaurant, hospital, and et al. And also HACCP's certification is relatively high price. And the second point is about the food stall on campus. And we choose the food stall around campus because most of students in Yogyakarta maybe prefer to buy delicious meal in affordable price. And also in this food stall is operated in 24 hours. So next about the research method. Here we use Google Earth for know the location or for mapping the food stall location, and it can you see here the coverage area sampling in the yellow, the inside area is around about about 500 meter from the center of campus. So we choose the biggest, one of the biggest private campus in Indonesia, and one of the campus is located in Yogyakarta. And we are taken the data by random sampling so that we got 33 samples of food stall. And then also we took a food sample from each food stall and investigate the pathogen microbial use selective media, coliform agar plus indole test. For the object of research, we will know and observe the data about the sanitary food and hygiene, and then the raw materials, supplying, ingredient storage, ingredient process, and food preservation. All these object is referred from the observation sheet based on the Ministry of Health of Indonesia, named Capmenkes number 1098 2003. For identifying 6 principles of hazard analysis critical control points. And then for the subject of research, we take several owners and food handlers of food stall here, and we employed in-depth interview. So for this research, we use qualitative analysis research, and we present on graphs and the tables and also narrate them. Okay, we will move to the result and discussion. The first of all, we know that the keys of hazard analysis critical control points it's shown in this flow chart. First of all, about describe the product and then construct, validate the process flow diagram, and the rest is the 6 principle of hazard analysis critical control points. Okay, about the product is divided to product. First, about the fresh cooked fruit, and then the second is the reheated food. And here we know the description about the product, about the specification, the name, and the ingredients, and so on. From the fresh cooked food and the reheated food here, the differences is about shelf life. In the fresh cooked food, we know the no shelf life, but in the reheated food is 1 day of shelf life. And the second point is the construct and validate a flow diagram. Here, I will show the diagram, the production of the food. First, for the fresh cooked food, and the other is the reheated food. In this diagram, it's not much show the difference, but also we know that only 2 points here in the right side, the reheated food. In the fresh cooked food, after we cook the food, directly serve the food to the customer or buyers. But in the reheated food, after we cooking the food, we storage the food and keep them before we serve in the buyers of our customers. We reheat it first. And this is the flow chart of the food production. Okay. In this flow chart, we have 5 steps start from supplying of raw materials. Most of them they buy from the traditional market, and then about the storage of raw materials, cooking process, storage of cooked food, and the food serving. And please, ladies and gentlemen, here, please notice the picture from the second until the 4th picture. And please keep your observation picture in your mind. Okay, and maybe we will discuss about this finding. Okay, next, about the data of the hazard analysis critical control points. And from the first up to 5th principle, we show in this table. the first column in the left side, we know the critical control points every stage or every step of the production food. First of all, this is for example, supplying of raw material, and then we analyze the hazard, the type of hazard, for example, biology hazard, chemical, and physical hazard. And for biological hazards such as Salmonella, E. coli, and so on. And for chemical hazards such as pesticide, preservative, or bleach. And then for physical hazard, such as sun, hair, dirt, and dust. And after that, we have to know from where the hazard is come from, and this is the justification. Most of the hazard is come from environmental hygiene. So after that, we have to monitoring the screening process from the supplying raw material. After that, we have to take an action here. For example, to tackle a biology hazard, we have to washing the raw material with antibacterial soap. And for chemical, maybe we can shorting between good and poor raw material. And physical, maybe we can use clean and closed box. And next this slide is continue to explain about the hazard analysis critical control points. Yeah. We know that we have 8 critical control points here, and this is the second and the third critical control points. There are storage of raw material and cutting process. And please move in the picture in the right side here. Please make notice some. This is some picture we gain from the sample of the food stall, and how they storage the raw material is like that. Where we don't use refrigerator. Most of them only use a cupboard like that. And then next, this is also still the analysis of critical control points about the washing process and cooking process. And here we have to take a look at the picture in the right side. Please take a look how the food handlers cooking the food. They did not use the protection equipment, for example, apron or masks like that. And here the last about the critical control points, about the storage of cooked food, serving food, and reheating food. Okay, and here this is some pictures about the storage of cooked food. Yeah, so after we cooking the food, and the food is storage or keep in the cupboard like that. Yeah, in the food container.
41 minutes, please.
Okay, thank you. And then the this is 6 principle. We have to validate and verification requirement. And this is now the graph for sanitation hygiene. There are some sanitation hygiene such as food sanitation, facility sanitation equipment, hygiene training, personal protection equipment, and personal hygiene. And from this bar chart, we know that the hygiene training, most of food handler did not get the hygiene training. And then from sanitation hygiene, however, some results say this is a good condition, but we found that facility sanitation show that all of food stalls have not lavatory for washing hand, and most of them have not equipment for repelling insect and rodent. Also for personal protection equipment. We know that from that picture that several food handlers were found that no wearing PPE, such as apron, head cover, and etc. And the last, this is about the personal hygiene. Some food handlers observe that no washing their hand before cook the food, talking with others without mouth covering or masks when cooking the food. And this is the crucial part, the most important part. And based on laboratory tests, there are 3 out of 33 samples of food from the food stall, which is estimated to have E. coli bacteria. This is in the run red cycle. This is a positive analysis. They show the purplish color and the cherry red color. And then this is the conclusion about this research. First, based on observation and in-depth interview, the implementation of HACCP of food stall in campus has not yet effective due to the lack of knowledge about HACCP and the implementation of the HACCP principles. And the second, the critical control points were identified on 8 points. And the third conclusion about the environmental sanitation, including food and facility sanitation, also personal hygiene, is contribute to become a pivotal factors in hazard analysis critical control points implementation. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ken Ujisima.